I don't know about you guys, but I'm actually really bored as a day trader on the ASX. Like June, July is historically pretty bad. June was okay this year, but July has been particularly awful. Haven't really found anything. There's usually one setup that I have high conviction on, and it's just one trade for the whole month that I try and get me in the green, and otherwise it's just a pillow fight. But lately, that one trade that I put size on has just ended up causing me to go pretty deep in the red for July. And that's not uncommon. Like being red in July for me is almost so standard for the last 8 years that I can't seem to dig my way out of it. I always tell myself I'll go on holiday or some shit, but I never do, and I always stick around. So what I've been doing lately instead is trading the US. I love trading the US. It's, even in July, the US was a bit rough, but I guess I'll just talk you guys through what I see, what I saw, what I did, and what I unfortunately didn't do. So I've been taking a liking to options trading. So take a look at a couple of trades. This was IonQ when I took it, the triple bottom, and bought options on this very candle here where it bottomed out. And these were $12 calls for 1 or 2 months out. I think it was 1 month out. The $12 calls. It launches. News came out here about the earnings, about the potential earnings news announcement that's coming. It's like a pre-earnings announcement, and they're saying they're on track or whatever. Really high volumes, failed, and I closed out the next day because I'm a fucking idiot. Right? There was still like a whole 18 days left on the options trade, but pushed it out because intraday wasn't looking good. Sort of learnt my lesson from that one. Just trust the setup, and of course it moons and gets all the way. On expiry day, got to $18-ish, so $6 in the money. Those options were, I believe, 20 cents each, and now they're worth $6, or expired at about $6. So multi-bags that I missed out on for IonQ. Nero was a really, really interesting one as well, so I'll take off the 200 moving average here, which is the white line, clean it up a little bit. So we have a massive, massive, massive trend from ages ago. And Americans love their massive trendline breaks. We've got a little bit of a channel here, so a break, retest, and caught this on the green day here. Bought calls for, I believe it was $9 with very short-term expiry, and it's a very nice move. Made about a bag or so. It wasn't anything too special, but probably should have considered 3 months out, 4 months out, because it's got high shares on issue. So in the Australian market, having 1.5 billion shares on issue is fairly common in the small cap space, hit that sort of high range. In the US, something that's sitting at 1.5 billion float is super uncommon. Like it's just, I don't see it. Everything I trade tends to be under 300 million, I think. It's very rare to find something in the billion space. So yeah, interesting. Pullback, comes to this retest, this pivot point where it broke out, made higher highs for I think that's the first time. Also, it's made higher highs in forever and actually held for more than a day. So you can see here it briefly topped higher highs. If you look historically, NEO just hasn't made higher highs since basically the start of this trend line in January 21. So a brutal, brutal downtrend. And then finally retests and starts going back up. And I really should have just considered calls. But I wasn't trading too much. I wanted to more just sit back and watch because I've been day trading the US more so than just options trading. So I wanted to get in the options space because moves like this can really, really make bags. And I just want to sort of add options trading to the repertoire of what I do. So an interesting move on that, and FTCH as well. There's an interesting thing that the Americans do, and that they just love the 200 moving average. I don't know what it is about it. But, it acts as a level of resistance, and then when it builds, it can pop above it. So bought calls for $6, I believe it was, at this range here as it was pulling back. Bought $6 calls, very short-term expiry. I think it was 2 weeks at this point in time. So again, made another bag in a little bit, maybe bag and a half on this little pop. It wasn't probably the best trade, but, it was interesting. Just the trend break, the build-up, higher highs, higher lows into the 200 moving average and not selling off. It was just very interesting. It was just for one move, one pop, and that's all I needed, and that's all I was after with short-term options trade. And there's another setup I've really found quite interesting, and it's to do with the 200 moving average and the 6-month VWAP. And, this isn't like the holy grail or anything like that, but it's a trend that I've noticed and a very familiar pattern that I've been seeing. And it really happens because a stock has just been beaten down so hard. When it makes a higher high, higher low, and repeats it towards a 200 moving average, and it sort of chills in this zone, it tends to pop quite strongly to the upside. So I've probably seen this about 5 or 6 times, and I've never seen this setup just fail through the 6-month VWAP. I just haven't seen it yet. So I figured, well, okay, I had a really bad time in the US. I got caught in a gap down, a leveraged gap down. It gapped 45%. It was fucking brutal, like a real brutal unicorn scenario, right? Never seen anything like it. It's kind of like MSB today. Anyone who traded MSB today, you probably feel that, right? That's a sick gap down from $1 to 47 cents. So I got caught in something similar with about 2.5 times leverage or whatever. So ended up in negative and blew the account by sheer bad luck. But I reloaded the account and just went back to trading the US. So the trade I ended up taking was UPWK. Exact same setup. It just hasn't made higher highs, higher lows in a very long time. I actually don't even know when it has. So it's this setup all over again. And it pops above the 6-month VWAP. As it will pop above the 6-month VWAP when you make higher highs and higher lows. So you don't even need the VWAP there. It's not necessary. It's just a visual representation of what's happening. So higher highs, higher lows, pop, pull back from the 200 SMA, classic. Bought call options. And I bought a few call options, and this is what I bought a couple of days ago. So up UPWK, $12.50 calls for a month and a half expiry. So I didn't know how long this was going to consolidate for, and I probably should have paid attention that there was earnings just around the corner. So ended up catching this really nice. Ended up making 5.3 bags on this one. So really nice move, pretty much near the open, just closed out the option. So just as it was in this area here, around $14.15, closed it out. The reason I don't hold on to it is the IV crush. So implied volatility skyrockets, premiums are worth more, so I just sell into it. And then of course it sort of collapses, and I would have held more, but I was planning on adding at this $9.50 level here, this pivot, where it loves to break and then retest this pivot level. So I was planning on buying more options here at around $9.50. Unfortunately, I didn't get my full size that I was after. In fact, it was just a starter position. So, while it was nice to make 5.5x, it wasn't a substantial amount of coin by any means. But anyway, the chart setup, beautiful. It just happens that there was earnings to help bolster that move. There's always the risk that the earnings are trash and all that sort of stuff, but that's fine. The risk to reward, the setup, it's all quite dandy. The next one is APLD. So this reminds me of the IonQ setup, which is the one that I took back here. It sort of just breaks out very clean and then just consolidates with a pretty significant range and then just breaks out and continues. Now, IonQ had a very sort of interesting fundamental base behind it. And the fundamentals were that they partnered up with Amazon in order to sell services. So they're not selling things, they're just selling services. And it's to do with quantum computing. So they're getting their sales effectively through Amazon, which is quite interesting. And I think they have a cloud component as well. So very, very interesting fundamentals for a stock that's sat around 2 billion, 1.8 billion market cap. So APLD, similar in the sense that the chart setup is there. I think it's just waiting for a news announcement to really pop. I've got a startup position as it came down, and I'm looking to add on at this sort of $7.30 level. And when it does, get options for around $12 to $14. Probably give it 2 to 3 months expiry. And if it pops and breaks, it's got a really nice setup. So high highs, high lows, keeps forming, break, consolidate, break. Looks really nice. And the other one that I was eyeing off that I forgot to mention was CVNA, Carvana. This goes in the sort of theme of the car stocks. So Tesla's been booming, Nikola's been booming, NIO's been booming. Everything's kind of just popping off in the car space. This one I was eyeing off, and this also helps with this setup. You know, it makes higher highs, higher lows. It consolidates between 200 SMA and the 6-month VWAP, and then it just starts popping off. And then I didn't add on at this point in time because when I just turn off the 200 moving average so I can zoom in properly. You can see that, you know, it did pop higher high before and it kind of just chilled. And then at this pop here, I contemplated a purchase of the stock here as well because there was a reversal on the earnings. A pretty significant reversal in the earnings report as well. I can't remember the specifics. I just remember that it was actually in a very, very good uptrend. A reversal, I think just the amount they lost was significantly less than the prior earnings. I think they were just starting to turn the business around was the story. So I kind of hesitated on this one. I didn't take it. I kind of just watched it, and then yeah, it just pops. It blows up, and then again it sets up. Except without a consolidation, it's more like a flag. It sort of ends up on a nice little channel, and then it just pops again. It just keeps popping. So from $12 to 50, a phenomenal run. And this was also like one of those lessons where I've been watching the US, and it builds into these setups that I'm looking for on the US and that I'm taking. So again, comes down to 200 moving average helping set up between the 6-month VWAP. And yeah, quite a nice looking setup. And we also got Apple. So we got I think it was 3-month expiry for 170 and 160. So we got 170 here, 160 here. That may seem like a significant drop, and it is, but the idea is not that that it has to get to 170 or 160, but that I'm giving it time to drop to that level, right? Especially with earnings around the corner. It's got its lowest revenues since the last 3 years. So, you know, when you got a stock rallying from 120 to 196, 197 with effectively zero pullback, stuff like this usually requires a epic financials report or a quarterly report, right? The one that ended up happening was pretty standard. It met expectations, just barely. And it's like, well, just meeting expectations usually isn't enough for a stock that rallies from 2 trillion to 3 trillion market cap. Like, it's a phenomenal rally. So the expectation is that it drops. It probably holds this 180 level a bit, maybe this 178, 180, and that's fine. Ended up getting it at 195 here before it tanked. I think it was 195.90. I can't remember which day it was, but ended up getting it right before it tanked for the put options. So even if it comes off, they're currently up as of Thursday night before the earnings, which you can see has tanked to 188, 187. They were up 35%. So just goes to show that I don't need this thing to go down to $150 or 160 or 170. I just need the thing to trend down, and I've got plenty of time. So time decay shouldn't be too much of an issue. I basically need it to drop. If I wanted it to be in the money at 150, I'd need it to drop like 70 cents a day or something like that average. So that's probably not going to happen, but I should catch a nice downswing and give it some room. Because I've got a few options on there, I might just scale out as it starts tanking. If it tanks, that is. Obviously, you don't know if this thing reverses and rallies. Who knows? And the other setup is NNOX. Now, this one is degenerate. This one's definitely degenerate. So what we're looking for is $17 calls in the short term. Americans love their 200 SMA as support and resistance. And this thing is being bought out. Not bought out, but like the Johnson & Johnson have been buying them quite steadily. So they're just adding on shares. And it's nothing special. I think they're holding like 350,000 shares. And the float is 46 million. So it's not like they're holding a substantial amount or trying to buy it out. But it's a good story, and the tech just got FDA approved. So typically, FDA approval, pop. Then you got Johnson & Johnson news, double pop, pulls back. And where's the level of support? Well, I was looking at this level here at 1470. I thought, no, this still feels a little bit too high. Based on trading the ASX news announcements regarding FDA approvals, these things pump and dump. And they don't necessarily dump, but like the pullback feels very sharp. because FDA approval is one thing, and then actually getting a product out and selling it, and moving on from FDA approval, it takes time. So the short term is a potential bounce towards 17. Again, don't need it to get to 17, but a bounce towards 17 would be quite helpful and profitable. Otherwise, this is pretty much where I'm buying, right above the 200 SMA, looking for a quick bounce. Also bought 1 year calls. You can see there's a little marker here, $40 call for January 2024, and I'm looking for April 2024 as well, around the $40 mark, maybe even $50 mark. I can't remember what the options there are, but I'm trying to buy some there as well. Give this setup some time to move, and the options are dirt cheap. These were 10 cents and 15 cents. Yeah, 10 cents and 15 cents. Phenomenally cheap. Considering how much volatility there's been, I'm actually really surprised the options are so cheap. I know you're thinking like, hey, you got a 4 bag in order to be in the money. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. That's more than fine. So those are the options trades that I currently got. And these are just starter positions as well. Yeah, I've started trading the last couple of days, and so far all of them look to be doing quite well. And I hope to add on to the APLD one soon, and we'll hopefully add on some more options trades in the near future when I find some setups. Otherwise, that's I'm just kicking back, I'm chilling, trading what I can, what I find on the US, and just taking it easy. Occasionally post some screen caps in Discord, so if you guys aren't on Discord, you can check out some of the screen caps there of the trades. Otherwise, I hope you guys are hanging in there, because June, July has been pretty rough, and August hasn't really been the greatest of starts. So I hope you guys are hanging in there, and I'll catch you in the next one.